Welcome back to Time Hats. I'm Drunken Dan.
Man, can't believe we finally got to see a beloved classic resurrected.
Which one?
You know, yeah, that was the problem. I was trying to think what's actually the worst. What's actually the worst one I could think of that was covered?
Because there were good things that
Yeah,
are
there's
being
a whole bunch of
remasters.
ones. There's a whole lot of good games that have either come out and been re-released or remade, and there's stuff that's upcoming. I was just trying to think of one that's actually bad to do the ha funny bait and switch joke. You know?
Yeah. Honestly, I can't think of one. Because I mean, like, Last of Us is old news. That getting one, like nobody
Who gives a
cares.
shit? That's how, like, I just don't care. I don't care about its show. I don't care about the games. I don't care about the fact that they've re-released the same game like 3 fucking times. And I'm like, Naughty Dog, why can't you give us back? Why can't you give us like fucking something Jack and Daxter related that doesn't suck?
Or how about just a new game, like in general? Like, come on.
Something a bit. I just want something a bit that's fun and not just. I don't know. I never played Last of Us 2, and I'm not watching the show because, like I said before, Last of Us has like very little actual appeal to me because, I mean, it's just a zombie story, man.
I mean, yeah, it's nothing really unique, and actually, someone said something kind of interesting. There was like something I saw someone say that was actually kind of interesting that I liked. Was that The Last of Us? There's nothing really inherently terrible about it. It's all just functional. It's nothing groundbreaking. In fact, it's pretty much like every zombie story where it's like, oh, the humans are the real villains, and but they also said like that Resident Evil is like the only one where they kind of reverse it. Like everybody's a zombie. The villains are zombies. Sometimes the heroes are also zombies.
Oh, hey, Sabo.
Hello, Sabo.
The real problem is that Resident Evil can get away with stupid shit. Can get away with shit because it's just weirdly it has this or it used to have this really kind of quirky Japanese like edge to it where it was like, oh, it's kind of like, you know, a classic Romero movie filtered through the lens of crazy Japanese developers like Mikami and Kamiya and etc. So there was always like, yeah, you had the kind of stuff that's just generic zombie stuff, but also, you know, fucking weird, quirky, fun stuff. Problem with Last of Us is it just doesn't have anything like that. All they've done is just the atypical, hey, look, what if man was the real monster all along, guys? Real talk, what if a zombie story where man is the monster?
What was it? I made a joke saying that when the directors for the show version of it, like, yeah, unlike the other zombie shows, this one's about the people. It's like, you sound like those assholes that do that with mecha shows, where they're like, unlike other mecha shows, like, when were they not? Like, literally in mecha, like, I mean, we talked about this before. Mecha shows being about the people was in its DNA when they created the Mazinger, because Koji's in the Mazinger to increase suspense and drama because he could fucking die.
Well, like other mech shows, this show hates the idea that it's a mech show and never has them use the mechs.
Unlike other mech shows, this mech show's gonna fucking shoot itself in the brain.
No, there's plenty that have done that.
Not quite to the extent of Genlock, though.
And I'm like, okay, so you just don't like the robots then? No, I do, but I only like the shows where they don't use the robots, so you don't like the robots then? No, I do.
I totally like them. Shut up.
But yeah, all of this to say, just all of it's like there's nothing unique really about The Last of Us at all, and all the other like Naughty Dog properties and the major like at least the major ones had pretty, you know, unique visuals or unique settings, or were at least like ripping off a movie series that have been dead for like 15 years. Looking at you, Uncharted. But like, and then you just get to Last of Us, and it's like, yes, it's technically like it ticks all those boxes, you know.
All
it
those
sure
bosses.
has all these. Yeah, well, it has all one of those. But yeah, it technically is a game. You can't deny it, and you can't say that it is objectively bad. But when you're like, what else is there? If it didn't have like the Naughty Dog prestige, would anyone have cared about it to the extent that they do? Or they pretend it's this big groundbreaking like game changer?
Yeah, I genuinely don't think so. If it was just like some random indie game, I don't think anybody would give a shit.
I think if it was a random indie game, it would probably get some like the typical like 5 minutes of fame that these kind of indie games get, where it's like, oh my god, this game's so deep, you guys. It's like, yes, I too have done like a year of philosophy, and I also believe that all people are sheeple. What if I've got a revolutionary idea, Dan. Indie horror game where it's actually just a metaphor for the main character being evil.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right? Crazy.
I've never seen that one before. Right,
No,
Braid?
never.
Oh wait, Braid's not a horror
Braid.
game.
Yeah.
It's not even a horror game! Shit!
No. But yeah, so Last of Us, who cares? It's like, just like you said, make a new game. Naughty Dog, you allegedly can do that.
Allegedly. Though you keep making Last of Us 1 and 2 over and over again.
Gotta remake it.
Did they fire
again.
their game designers and they just keep looking at their old GDDs?
Maybe if we release The Last of Us 2 like 2 more times, people will finally like it.
Maybe they're just looking at Square Enix being like, well, why don't we get that Kingdom Hearts money? Let's just re-release a game let's just re-release the same games every like
Yeah,
couple
but
years.
even Kingdom Hearts took like a decade before it started doing that. For a while, it was like, we're releasing games in Japan only, and you can't have them.
Yeah.
I
To
know,
be
I know,
also-
I know those were the dark ages we've forgotten about, but that's how it's been.
Or actually, to be even more fair to Kingdom Hearts specifically, a lot of those games were locked onto like consoles that you just were unplayable if like you didn't have access to the older hardware. Like, if you want to play like Dream Drop Distance, good fucking luck. You need to have a 3DS. Yeah, if you want to play 358 over 2 days, well, you still can't, but you can watch all those cutscenes.
Isn't that nice?
But yeah, sure, we could really want to be into 358 over 2 days with a story.
Apparently, that's generally what people only cared about.
Yeah, that is probably. I mean, that is probably accurate. But
The gameplay and that wasn't really all that better either.
no,
I mean, the story was great. Like Shion, everyone's favorite character, Shion.
she is everyone's favorite character. It feels like.
For some reason.
Oh no, man! People are simps. Oh no, I said the
Like, she
banned
actually
word.
has less personality than Kairi, which is saying something.
'Cause she's literally just a clone of
Like-
Kingdom Hearts 1 Kairi.
Yeah, she's
sort of.
basically just a clone of Kingdom Hearts 1. Kairi,
No, she has a
except-
clone of Kingdom Hearts 1 Kairi. She would be at least snarky. She lost that after 1.
Mm.
She wasn't allowed to do that anymore.
That's because she lost her heart or something. I don't know. So I'm sure Nomura has like. I'm sure it will come up in Kingdom Hearts 4, and it will be some surprise twist that Nomura will be like, "Oh yeah, that was always planned. I didn't just make this shit up like on the fly because the producer was like, dude, we need a plot twist for this game."
Nomura would never make things up as he goes along. Kingdom Hearts is actually very deep and well written.
Never. I
we're
mean,
not being sarcastic at all. Shut up.
I mean, I can say this: Kingdom Hearts is at least that exact kind of unique experience I was talking about, where it comes from that kind of quirky game dev. I think it's probably a worse example of that being a good than Resident Evil, because Resident Evil games before they homogenized into what they are now, this kind of boring, bland,
Yeah.
uninspired.
It's even hitting
half-assed
fucking
remakes
4
of
from the looks of
itself.
things.
Oh yeah, 4's gonna suck. Or I'm sure 4 will be exactly that kind of, oh, it's technically a good game, but it's gonna have like actually nothing to it. Especially since they're already talking about shit like locking off treasures behind paywalls.
Jesus, really? That's awful.
Yep.
Like no joke, no
Right.
snark towards its fans.
it's also-
That's terrible.
It's also insane to me because that's the exact thing that really soured people on Callisto Protocol before it came out. Because then Callisto Protocol was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a season pass and also a bunch of like death screens, a bunch of unique death animations gonna be locked behind that, and it's like, fucking, this is such a bad idea.
It sounds like
Like,
honestly,
it's skeevy whenever you're like locking
the-
stuff off behind.
that idea sounds like what I would be expecting EA to do with Dead Space. If I'm gonna be honest. That's what I expected Dead Space
That's
to
the
do.
thing. That's the thing. It's honestly amazing how good the Dead Space remake has turned out in comparison to everything else. Just kind of being
EA.
insane.
It's weird
Like,
that EA is the one that between the two of them that made the remake that isn't skeevy. Like, it's fucking EA, man.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we all expected Dead Space remake to be uninspired or just not very good.
Yeah.
And Callisto Protocol was going to be this like huge fucking smash mega hit that everyone was going to love, and it's like, oh no, we just have Callisto Protocol being this like game that nobody really cares about.
Yeah.
It's,
I remember
you know,
that being the thing back when they were coming out, that everyone was all like, "Yeah, Callisto Protocol's gonna be fucking sick," and then you know, people were like, I was worried about the remake because, I mean, it's EA, and I'm not a fan of, like, I'm not a Dead Space fan, but you know, I at least have a heart that exists, and I want the fans to get what they want, and in the end, they got what they want, and I was happy for them. And Callisto ended up being bad. You know what's funny? There's actually a lot of cases. Now I think there's more cases of where the quote-unquote original director gets their hands on the thing again, and they fuck it up. Now that I think about it,
probably.
like if you think about, like, I still think Yooka-Laylee wasn't really that good.
I don't think anybody does. I think at best people go, it's okay. Like, I don't think anyone else is like, you know, I don't think anybody's really liked, even before, like, you know, it became that game where you have to go, hey, look, it's JonTron. Back when he was a thing.
Oh no,
or
he's not
literally
in
just
the game.
before
He's in this one though.
Oh, they delete him.
Yeah, he was like, I think he was a
yes.
toilet, and they changed his voice before release, or well, his mumbles, I should say, not but
Oh yeah,
same diff.
'cause it was literally just as he well,
Him going like,
how
kind
do you
of
describe what he did?
Oh, you
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
oh, you mean
but,
what he did on a stream? Oh yeah, where he's like
yeah.
racist tirade.
Yeah. But I mean, PewDiePie did that, and he seems to be doing all right for himself. So what's JonTron's excuse? All right, he doesn't make content. That was it.
I was gonna say JonTron never uploads.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said before that literally what hurts a lot of these people is the fact they just don't put shit up. Like,
Yeah.
like Spoonie would have been
Algorithms.
fine if he just kept uploading. Like everyone would just ignored it. Not because,
I mean,
and this is my cynicism. It doesn't matter what a lot of these people do if they just keep making the content. They'll keep going, I'll just separate the artist from the art. It's like, but it's literally him. This is literally just him talking in front of a camera. No, I'm separating.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's an interesting discussion that's coming around with all of that, especially in regards to YouTubers, where it's like, I guess an example would be like that is that Hogwarts game that's come out, and it's like on some level it's kind of like, yeah, you can't really, it's hard to very much remove J.K. Rowling from Harry Potter, but like on the other hand, it's like an entire game where she's had virtually no input, so everything's been orchestrated by the game dev. So is it like fair to just tar that with the same brush as like, well, it's got her name and the credits somewhere because
I would say yes for one reason. She still gets a paycheck for
Okay.
it. So to kind of give a different example of this, so, and I'll use it as something that I'm a fan of for this. So, and then I'll use something that I was a fan of that I threw away. So for one that you can still look at now, if it ever releases anything, is Earthworm Jim, because Doug TenNapel fucking sold that shit a long time ago. He does not get any money from it. By buying anything Earthworm Jim related, he gets no money. Other than the comic, he has the rights to the comic. That's the only thing that he owns. Now, for one that's the reverse, where, you know, I threw it away, we have fucking Rurouni Kenshin. Rurouni Kenshin is solely owned and pays the guy who made it, who is a pedophile. So, that's kind of the difference there. So I can see, like, not wanting to buy the game, and I'm not a Harry Potter fan, so that's kind of why I'm using examples of things that I was into, or am into / was into. So like I can see like someone being like, yeah, fuck this, because the money goes directly to her. So to me, I see it still as like a little bit of a conflict, though you can't say the devs are specifically at fault, but the money still goes to her and the devs got paid.
Just an interesting thing, considering that's like there's not even really a hot button thing. I think that's come out and everyone's gone, yeah, it's a good game, but it's like kind of have to
I've
make your
mostly
own
heard
choice on.
I've mostly heard it's mediocre, to be honest.
I just meant like it's not terrible, which is kind of the benchmark you have to hit by these days. Is your game like out the door
I've heard it's
playable?
I've heard it's pretty buggy.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's at least my take on it. Now for like different streamers, I will say, like, you can give plausible deniability if you want to like be like, I don't want to watch this guy anymore, because some of them could have not known and learned later, but they already have a fucking contract with Warner Brothers to stream their fucking game. Especially when you're bigger, that happens more often. Where am I supposed to?
I mean, I'm pretty sure J.K. Rowling's been pretty well known for the problems.
You'd be surprised
that
how many people don't know. You think you forget how dumb people are. Some people don't even fucking read signs, and by some I mean a lot.
I was gonna say, considering like every article, every like piece of build up has basically just been with she has nothing to do with this game, I promise. And every actor being like, oh yeah, I'm glad that we were all part of this, but she has nothing to do with us, I promise.
Pinky swear.
I'm fairly certain.
Oh no! I mean,
Yes,
has no
exactly.
involvement in the regards of like the writing for it, most likely, but she does get paid.
Anyway, how are you, Sabo?
We kind of just talked over you this entire time.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I walked into, but you know.
It's fine. That discussion's pretty much done at this point.
But hey, Metroid Prime got a remaster
Oh, yeah.
finally.
And that
Yeah,
looks.
I saw that.
I heard it's really good. My friend's been playing it. Or
Yeah,
by
I'm playing
been
it.
playing it. I
It's
mean,
pretty
beat it.
It's pretty good, yeah. It's nice to see Metroid Prime come back. Hopefully we get Metroid Prime 2 and, dare I say, Metroid Prime 3.
I was really happy to see the We Love Katamari getting re-released or getting a remaster as well. Because I fucking love Katamari Damacy, so what's funny is I've only ever played Katamari Damacy and Katamari Forever. I never actually got to play We Love Katamari.
I mean, it's basically the same thing.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
You go around like a sociopath, rolling people.
I know what Katamari Damacy is.
Throwing them into the sky and turning them into a star, and
You ever think it's
everyone's like it's great that you just murdered 100-something people.
Do you ever think that it's really funny how like Katamari Damacy started off as this kind of like B game that was like, not anti-consumerism, but very kind of like critical of consumerism, and it's like, yeah, I don't know, sequelize the fuck out of that.
Which is literally part of the joke in it too, in the sequel.
Mm.
And then they
Yeah,
made more,
and
and then
this-
they made two others because they made the one that was on the Xbox only, and then they made Katamari Forever, which was the last one.
You remember that time when Xbox was like really trying to like convince Japanese developers to work with them?
Which time?
Back in like the early 360 era, where they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna get our own like Dragon's Quest with blackjack and hookers." In fact, forget the dragons and the quest.
In fact, forget that.
Well, that's not fair. They got a dragon. It's just it was a blue dragon.
God, I forgot about Blue Dragon.
Designs by Akira Toriyama. It's that same 3 hairstyles he uses for everyone.
He even had an anime too.
Had a spin-off manga that had nothing to do with either the game or the anime at all.
I wouldn't know if they had anything to do with each other because I had never played I've never played it. I only ever like saw like a clip of it on my like TV like while I was like getting up for college or something like that. Because I remember it was showed on Cartoon Network at least for a little bit.
I played it. I don't think I ever finished it.
and I never played it, so like I have no earthly idea. Nor do I particularly care.
This was a super interesting JRPG. Characters are pretty, you know, Chrono Trigger light at best.
I know my one friend who really likes RPGs, she fucking hates it.
Been too long since I played it, but it definitely had a lot of the more obnoxious sort of JRPG tropes. You know, that annoying character that kind of talks like Jar Jar Binks.
It's always got to be one of those, I swear.
There's always one of them. I mean, sometimes they do him all right, and you get like Kamari from FF10, who's like the best character.
Ricky slammed Dicky in the car door.
Yeah, but at least he's only a side character, not a main party member.
It's true.
Unlike this, whatever his name was.
I don't know any of their fucking names.
Or like how every fucking it took like 3 fucking Xenoblade games before they finally had a Nopon I didn't hate.
Oh, that's kind of impressive.
It's only because he's the one with the super, super, super deep voice, so it's just really kind of bizarre.
Ah, so it's kind of funny.
And also, he's called Riku. He's just walking around saying Riku. And I'm sat there thinking, yeah. And I'm just sat there thinking, yeah, he is pretty great. He's almost as great as Darkness.
Don't forget, darkness within darkness.
You're pretty strong now, Raikou. You might even be stronger than Darkness now. Wait, really? No.
I mean, pretty much exactly what that scene was, let's be honest. But yeah, so there was that period of time where Microsoft was really trying hard to get like the Japanese studios and a Japanese flair for the Xbox, and it just never worked. And then there was that time where PlayStation was like, we don't want anyone to know that we're Japanese.
They're still in that phase.
They've eased off on it a bit since, like, I guess they've
I'll
realized
believe that when they start opening studios that aren't just Naughty Dog making the same game again.
I just meant there was that one E3 where they had like Gravity Rush 2 was like just about to come out, and it had like fucking nothing, like no trailers, no any kind of nothing for it, and the only like close to an anime / Japanese inspired influence game that got any kind of like send up was Persona, which I mean.
Well, no, according to one person online, Persona didn't get popular until 5.
Ah, yes.
I got blocked for telling them that they were wrong. It was really funny.
You get blocked a lot, I notice.
Yeah. I didn't even do anything like mean. I was just actually no. The most mean thing I did was at one point after like they were trying to argue the sales when I showed them it, where they were like, "That's not I think it was like that's not just Japan, like just in North America, those numbers, something like that." And I was like, dude, because their age was, I think they were like 13 when 4 came out. I was like, dude, just because you weren't aware of it doesn't equal wasn't successful in North America at the time. And that's when I got blocked. I mean, it's not like I'm wrong. Even if they think I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Like, and that isn't even the meanest thing I've ever said. Not even close. I don't even think that registers on the mean scale, really.
You are a mean one, Mr. Dan.
Mr. Finch. Mr. Binch.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I almost worry if we could keep going down that route of trying to think of things that rhyme with Grinch, are we just accidentally going to hit on like a curse word in another language or something?
Yeah, honestly, you got a point.
Cancelled.
I would suck if we like accidentally made like a racial slur that's in another language.
It's not impossible, just considering all the languages. And just like and how much I like just making weird noises and pretending it's a word, because I think it's funny. there's a chance that one of the noises I made was
Yeah, but
accidentally a word.
unless it's a language that's actually spoken in the U.S., people probably won't care.
You never know. I know one streamer I was kind of like going in on doing a whole Aussie thing, and he accidentally said a slur against the Aboriginals.
Oof!
I think I say I thought he was just being an Aussie and accidentally forgot. Oh, right.
No, it's one of he was an Australian. He was just doing like a whole Australian bit, and then accidentally said a slur against the Aboriginals because that's a thing he'd heard Australians say. Because I mean, Australia.
That's just how they say hello to people down there.
Yeah, basically.
If an Aussie calls you a cunt, it's actually a term of endearment for them.
Yeah, what if that was actually just all bollocks? That was just an excuse that they could insult people, and everyone goes, "Oh, thank you."
Shit. Maybe.
That's what I should. Maybe that should be my new scam. I'm just gonna be like, no, my culture calling you a fuck nugget is actually just saying I really respect you.
It just means I'm your friend, haha.
When I tell you I want you to die a horrible,
I mean, I'm
painful,
pretty sure when they
death-
say in Australia, it's just how they say hello to people. They just mean Australians are really, really rude and profane to each other.
Yeah.
You know, and they're okay with that because they're not overly sensitive. Unlike certain people. You know, like when the girl from Rooster Teeth got in trouble.
Wait, what did she do?
No, 'cause she was in it. She was in a con. They were at a con in Australia, and like the Australian like panelists going on were like, please, will you please make your language, please watch your language. We're trying to keep everything professional here. And it's like, well, I was like, all right. She spent like the last 2 days hanging around with a bunch of rowdy Australians, so she just goes on stage and she goes, "What's up, you cunts?" And then like everyone just like slapped their face, and she was like, "Oh, sorry, I've heard that so many times in the last 2 days. I just thought it was casual conversation."
I mean, it is, but
Yeah, they were not happy.
You can't just say that unless you can say that.
I mean, you can. It's very easy to say, actually. Cunt, 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 cunt.
Oh my god. We're gonna get demonetized!
No, it's fine.
Wait,
It's fine.
Wait, are you actually monetized?
No!
No,
I didn't
Okay.
monetize in years!
Yeah, they don't care.
we've been demonetized for years. Funnily, coincidentally,
Remember when we did that thing with Gun Tank and he decided to monetize the channel and we were hit with a copyright strike within like a half hour?
Yes.
That's why you don't monetize your channel.
Well, unless you can, actually get around that shit and make money. Basically, if you could just be like Mr. Beast and spend $1 million and make $4 million.
Make so much money and give so much to charity that when people say anything bad about you, you can just be like, well, why don't you go around giving sight to the blind?
One of those weird sort of cases of when it comes to rich people and charity, and even though they give a lot proportionally, they give less than what normal people give.
Yeah, it does
I
happen
think
a lot.
I think Mr. Beast actually does give a lot of his money away because that's how he keeps.
I'm
his
not
channel
saying
afloat.
him specifically. I just meant
Okay.
as a general
Yeah,
rule. It's
honestly, I heard he's pretty good, but yeah, in general, you're right.
Because it's like, yeah, I mean, if you're like Elon Musk and you have $44 billion or whatever his
I
wealth
think he
is.
said the whole reason he started his channel is because he convinced people to give him ridiculous sums of money, but only if he give it away to people on stream. So that's what he did. I mean, I'm not quite sure why they believed him, but they did, and he decided to go through with it.
I mean, fair enough, I suppose.
Hey, it worked.
Yeah?
Wish I could make money by spending money.
Like, I know very little about Mr. Beast. I've never watched any of his stuff. He's just kind of this thing where I'm aware of him, vaguely, and I'm just like, whatever, fair cop, I guess.
Technically watched one of his videos, and by technically I mean I watched someone react to react to one of his videos. So technically I pirated his content because he didn't even get the benefit of my view. Piracy is a victimless crime,
Especially if you pirate from Nintendo.
especially if you pillage on the high seas as well.
It's true. Har har.
Look, I'm just saying, when has anyone like ever really been like affected by piracy? It's like the 1700s.
People in
No,
Somalia.
there was. I mean, there was that. Tom
Oh,
Hanks.
Somalia doesn't.
There was that
count.
thing with the Tom Hanks movie.
Oh, Somalia doesn't count. They're not real pirates. Real pirates are fun. They're just They're just sea assholes.
Pirates are fun. I didn't say we weren't fun.
You got it.
I understood that reference.
Yay.
Meme.
Funnily enough, one of my favorite sketches. Those two who did that whole Nazi sketches is this one that just involves the line, "It's avocado, you cunt."
Oh, see, this is where I'll show that I'm not nearly as cultured because while I love that sketch and I've seen it, I've never actually seen anything else those guys have done, nor do I honestly know their names. I just know them as the baddies guys.
Yeah, it was
Same.
a really good sketch, to be fair.
Because that's all we get over here.
One day I might link you some of the other funnier sketches they've done. One day.
Because that's what we do over here. We're uncultured, and we don't get British comedy.
It's fine. You have your own brand of comedy. Wait, no, sorry, that was a lie. Because when I was thinking American comedians, and the first thing that came up was Jimmy Fallon. That can't be right.
We used to have funny people, but
And they died.
Now all our comedians do is go, man, you can't make jokes anymore. Cancel culture. Am I right? Waka waka. Have you tried making an actual joke?
Or some flavor of Trump bad, like Trump hasn't been president in several years now. Please find something else to complain about.
Yeah, complain about all those fucking balloons.
It's like when Bush wasn't president anymore and Robin Williams was like, oh great, now what am I gonna make fun of?
If he'd have stayed alive, he'd have had great targets to make fun of.
Oh, I was gonna say it's too bad he didn't make it. I'm sure he would have loved trashing Trump for several years, assuming his brain held up that long.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he could have been endless hours of fun making fun of Trump. He makes it so easy.
Like I like making fun of Trump, and I love doing it. But I won't lie, most Trump jokes weren't particularly funny. The ones that so the only reason I even found like Small Hands funny was because it actively pissed off Trump to where like he was so mad. One time he got a piece of paper, put his hand down it, and drew the outline of his hand, supposedly his hand, like a kid drawing a turkey, and just that level of anger made it funny to me.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't give a shit. I would be like, ah, whatever.
Yes, yeah, most of the jokes do tend to devolve into Orange Man bad, and it's like, yeah, but you kind of need a bit more than that.
It's like Orange Man bad. Yeah, we kind of knew that going in.
Orange Man bad. Yeah, that's why I didn't fucking vote for him.
In fact, we've kind of known that for the last 20 years, ever since he made a show that was basically all about him firing people and laughing about it.
It's one of those weird it's one of those circumstances where you like everyone who you're saying that to is people who are just already going to agree with you, because anyone who doesn't agree with you is probably not going to listen to reason anyway, because they've already made up their mind that Trump's their favorite.
They made up their mind that Trump's their favorite, and sometimes they're also insane.
Same thing,
Yeah, I've
really.
been to Trump country.
You live in Trump country, don't you?
No.
Oh, I thought one of you was in
Me.
the redneck part of. Ah, it's Dan.
Dan lives in redneck New Jersey. No, I've only been to Trump country when I go down to Carolina.
Damn redneck Jersey.
And you drive down, there's like just a giant sign that like praises Trump halfway, just on the middle of the highway. That I think has been vandalized several times, but they always just repair it like it's good as new.
That's no fun.
Yeah. Yeah, the guys my dad golfs with are big Trumpers. He says it takes a lot of self-restraint.
They're golfers, of course they fucking are.
You know, he says it takes a lot of restraint not to just, you know, eat them up.
Smash their heads in.
Yeah, not to just take his club and smash their heads in.
Bash his head. Kill the pig. Drink his blood. You know, that book actually kind of sucks.
What?
Catcher,
Lord
not
of
Catcher in
the
a Rye. Well,
Flies.
Catcher in a Rye does. But Lord of the Flies, yeah.
Yeah, but at least
Oh,
Catcher
that's,
in the Rye.
oh, that's what that was from. Yes, Lord of the
No,
Flies.
it's Lord of the Flies. We're gonna say it's not Catcher in the Rye. Catcher in the Rye is more
No, Lord of the Flies is how, like, if a group of people is exiled to an island for a month, they'll all turn into wild cannibals.
I mean, people do that shit if they're stuck in civilization for a month. It's like, no shit, Sherlock.
My favorite part of that was when I was reading in high school, and I slowly realized that the fucking like I think it was like real early in the book, and I slowly realized that the fucking book was describing light reflecting off of like dew on a leaf, and it was like a page and a half. And as soon as I realized that's what the fuck this was, I got so unbelievably angry that I threw the book. Like, you pretentious cunt. You're wasting my time describing something that can be done in a sentence, you prick.
Yeah, it's just like that's just a waste. Just be like, yeah, there's dew on the leaf. This is good. Get to the good shit. But then I also think every novel is literally improved if you put in a kaiju or a mech.
But
Like, I'm sorry, Pride and Prejudice and zombies, I sleep. Pride and Prejudice and mechs, sign me up.
what about mechs fighting giant zombies?
Little bit Attack on Titan for my taste, but okay.
Okay, but we can do that. Hey, we can make our own. We just remove all the fascism.
I was like, oh,
So-
Attack on Titan. I mean, I never liked it to begin with.
Oh, yeah,
but
same.
Now
That was
I'm just like, oh god.
That was another one that I threw, actually. I remember, I remember after I finished the first volume, I just threw the book.
Yeah, well, you should have kept that because you could have traded that in for.
Oh no, I
for
sold it to a
Zero.
coworker.
I was gonna say you could have kept that for an issue 0 from DC.
I don't know if that'd be better or worse.
Oh fuck! Speaking of DC and worse, that's something.
Go on.
You know, the Flash trailer happened.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I didn't fucking watch that, 'cause I ain't gonna fucking watch it. Fuck that.
Yeah, it looks pretty awful. And you're like, man, this is the movie that absolutely had to happen, huh?
Listen,
Oh,
it's really
I-
good.
I
It's-
remember one tweet that literally said all those crimes, all that money just for this.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, I can even see why they couldn't just reshoot the recast the movie. They didn't realize Ezra Miller's in it twice.
Yeah, that's what I said. That they mean it when they said he's literally in like 99% of the movie has him in at least one scene. Because there's 2 Ezra Millers. I think there's actually 3.
And they had to release it, otherwise Ezra Miller would air out all their dirty laundry.
There's that too. Some people think that Ezra Miller was like abused by one of the DC or Warner Brothers people as a kid.
Could be,
That's-
but
and
I
that's
think
why,
I think he
that's
just
why
had-
they absolutely cannot fire him, or else he'll have nothing left. If they fire him and like set him up to go to jail, then he'll have no reason not to just talk, because he's like, well, he's screwed anyway. Might as well take him down with him.
I mean, that's certainly a possibility, but man, yeah, movie looks pretty bad. Feel sorry for all those people who lost out on like major projects to keep this fucking thing afloat.
Batgirl died for this.
Fucking Scoop
I mean,
2 died for this.
Scoop,
In fact,
I-
Scoop 2 died for this in Velma.
Oh yeah, guess what else has been renewed for a second season?
Oh, it was renewed at the start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they said. They said it's probably been renewed, and they already had the budget in there from the start. But it's not. It's likely not going to get any more. I mean, Mindy Kaling has already basically like blocked her Twitter because of all the people telling her that she ruined their childhoods and to die a horrible death. Which
Why self-insert as Velma?
Right?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I guess she could. I guess because she don't want to self-insert as Daphne, because that implies she thinks she's like a beautiful Valley girl.
Self-insert as Scooby-Doo.
But she hates Scooby-Doo, though.
Yeah, she doesn't like Scooby-Doo.
Then why is she making a Scooby-Doo show?
Good question!
So she could destroy it. Basically, it's like Animaniacs, the new show, where they're just like, yeah. The old show was stupid.
Remember how like, the first season was just like... So, like, again, that's why we're rolling back to this. Remember how, like, the first season was pretty much just them, like, ranting about Trump and Russia for, like, half of the season?
Yeah.
And again, I want to say again, I hate Trump. I make fun of Trump. I don't think any of the jokes that they did in Animaniacs, the new one, with those were particularly funny. The only episode that was really funny was the episode where it was the guy hunting them, and it was Chicken Boo.
Like I said, I just think it gets old. I don't like Trump either, but like I don't feel the need to like have to constantly tell the world how much I hate him.
There's not really.
I like after a while, like how long is this guy gonna live in your head for?
There's not really right now until like the only times I really make fun of him is like when he pokes his head out, which he does do. Don't get me wrong, but like right now, there's not really a reason to like make a quip until he does something and pokes his head into the news again. Or there's news on his trial or shit like that. But that's about it. Oh yeah, also, one thing about Seal the Deal that I'm going to mention because now I'm poking in the Seal the Deal, is I like that that depending on what you did in the newscasting changes who is on the ship. So, like, you help the conductor, and him and his grandchildren are all here. I'm gonna assume they're his grandchildren.
I mean, he is a peckneck who definitely fucks, I'm just saying.
So at some point, on my own, I want to see what it looks like with DJ Grooves. See if he has, like, children or something.
No, I don't think DJ Grooves fucks. DJ Grooves feels like that guy who's, like, always like, oh yeah, my dick's constantly wet, and it's like he's never even been kissed.
Never even seen a boob.
I get so much action, guys. Seriously.
Yeah, he's literally that guy.
Are we ready to sail?
You know what my favorite part about this DLC though is the fact that all of the seals talk in uwu speak.
Welcome
to the cruise, miss.
Actually, have you played the DLC? I don't know.
Not yet, no. I got distracted by shiny things.
Fair enough. But this seal hopes I have a great time.
Hey there, dude.
Oh, one of those types, is it?
The seals are just like, hello, miss.
Aren't you? Hopefully there's nothing
Hello.
fishy about this ship.
Well, the guy who captains the ship is like this old, very tired walrus.
But nobody wants to be a walrus.
Walruses are fun. You should if you see a walrus on a beach, you should definitely approach it.
Totally, it's a good idea.
Definitely.
What could possibly go wrong?
Why are you approaching it right now?
Come on, give it a pet.
Yeah, no, seriously, if you see walruses on the beach, you fucking run.
Or kill them.
No, you run. You try.
You're not
you
gonna
can't
kill them.
kill them.
Nobody wants to be a walrus, so kill him and his misery.
Why wouldn't you want to be a walrus?
I don't know. That's like what the Skyrim guy on the YouTube said. When he goes around just killing the walruses there, he's like, kill the walrus. Nobody wants to be a walrus, so kill them and his misery.
Walruses are cool. They're big and angry and violent. You know,
Like hippos.
everything we aspire to be.
Like hippos.
Hippos are real ultimate power. I once saw a hippo eating in a diner. When some dude dropped a spoon, the hippo killed the whole town.
I mean, Probably not entirely inaccurate.
Yeah, honestly. I can see it happening. Hippos are fucking vicious, man.
Yeah, the thing is, they're like just the species of animal that has evolved to be highly aggressive, kind of like rhinos, although I'm pretty sure even rhinos don't have the same aggressive tendencies that hippos have.
They're not quite as aggressive. They are aggressive, but they're not quite as aggressive. Still, I wouldn't exactly play with a fucking rhino.
Yeah, I might. Rhinos are kind of cute.
He likes living dangerously.
Dangerously cheesy.
I don't know, man. It's one of the, it's kind of one of those things where I used to say one of the best ways to commit suicide was to like fist fight a bear, because it's like, well, either you die, which is what you want anyway, or you beat the bear, in which case you go to everyone, oh yeah, I beat the bear in a fist fight.
Win-win.
It's like there's literally no downside.
But could you beat Cocaine Bear in a fist fight?
Yeah, probably. He's high as a kite. His fucking heart will give out any day, at any
What if-
second.
What if the bear devours your soul and you spend eternity in torment?
What inside it? What? You better spend eternity inside a bear.
Yeah,
There's worse places to be.
that's true.
Like New Jersey.
Yeah. So you should be prepared. You should be prepared for your bear overlords, because since the ice caps are melting, polar bears are coming down and into Canada and mating with the grizzlies. So now you're getting bears that are as aggressive as grizzlies, but the size of polar bears.
Polar bears are more aggressive.
Polar bears are the fiercest killers in the animal kingdom.
Sort of. They are very effective and they're very big, but they're not as overtly aggressive, and they will only ever be. They don't have as fierce territory as like grizzlies do. So they don't feel, unless they're with young, they don't tend to feel the need to be aggressive for the sake of aggressive. So, like, grizzlies, on the other hand, do like have territory that they defend.
But are they aggressive as spiders? Because
Depends on the
spiders are also
spider.
the fiercest killers in the animal kingdom.
Not really.
The reception
Like, they're
is great.
effective predators. We're not like, anything more than like most other predatory species that have survived for millennia. It's like, sharks and crocodiles have basically not evolved at all in like millions of years.
It's true.
There's like genetically and evolutionarily speaking, very little difference between like certain modern species of shark. Like sharks are kind of weird because part of it is they're just so well adapted at what they do anyway, but another part of it is there's just so many. Because they've been so successful at surviving through extinction events, they are like so well there's just so diverse, like, in terms of what shark species are around.
Thing that looks like this? Well,
And plus like relatives like rays and etc. Whereas crocodilians, or whatever the official term for the like 3 species of alligator, crocodile, whatever the third one is that's only in like India, I forget. They're all like pretty similar. They're all incredibly similar. There's very little like diversity amongst their species.
mess.
It's mostly related to like size and snout shape.
We didn't do a very good job, and we lost some of the pieces. I'm
But yeah, polar bears or bears the size of polar bears, but going on to mainland North America. Have fun with that.
It's okay. People will shoot them.
What if the bears develop guns though?
It's just like Jurassic Park. They learned how to use weapons and open doors.
Yeah.
And text.
I fucking wish Jurassic Park would go ridiculous and have like raptors wielding fucking shotguns.
I think one of
Like,
my
that's
favorite
what
bits in The Critic was basically that, where they open the door and they're just like, "You may have us, but you'll never get off the island." And he pulls out a little pipe and goes, "I beg to differ. The other raptors and I have built a crude suspension bridge to Venezuela. Once there, I will lie low under the alias Mr. Piffington. But perhaps I've said too much." And he's like,
Yeah,
puffs on the pipe.
that's the way I wish Jurassic World had gone. Like, as a franchise. Just full on embrace that shit. Because it's like, well, it's already going to be schlocky and crap. And no matter how much you like try and preach, oh, it's also an environmental thing because it's all about preserving an endangered species. It's like preserving an endangered species are horrible genetic mutants made by man.
Help. Will you take me to...
Be like going around saying, well, you see the T-virus zombies, we need to preserve them because they're an endangered species.
They're just innocent men. Just innocent men.
You know, they didn't mean to do it.
The ship doesn't steer
Look.
itself.
Look, they're not zombie. We're not using the Z word. They're living impaired.
One of the crew hurt themselves again? What do I look like, a doctor? Kiss it better yourself.
Oh. Oh, I'm trying to think what else. Like, I guess there was a new Zelda trailer, but whatever.
I really don't care about Zelda.
It's Zelda. I'm sure it will just sell. I'm sure it will be fine. It will sell 1 billion copies, and everyone will be like, "Oh my god, guys, Zelda sold a lot. How can you believe it?"
I like that the trailer, when I looked at the trailer, I was just like, this vehicle stuff. Is this nuts and bolts?
I was gonna say the vehicles did look very kind of build your own ones.
It looked very Banjo nuts and bolts.
Oh no, Zelda nuts and bolts.
Don't worry though, even if it's not great, well done, they'll tell you how it's the best way that it's ever been done in any video game ever, because it's Zelda.
Listen to your friend, you should have. Now you have to play this game that is quite bad.
Thanks, Grunty.
Shame they only ever made one of those games.
Yeah, what can you do?
They only made one nuts and bolts?
No, one
Only
Banjo
made one.
Tooie.
No.
He's saying he doesn't like the other. He doesn't like Banjo Tooie.
Oh, I was gonna say Banjo-Tooie. I mean, Banjo-Tooie was,
It's fine.
it's better
It's
than
not
nuts
like-
and bolts.
Yeah, it's not like bad. It's just.
It's just they made it because they had basically said, "Hey, we're gonna make a sequel."
It's
And
they're like
we developed
their idea of making
we
a
developed
sequel.
an entire concept of interfacing with a sequel that we had to throw out because we realized that the system we had developed to interface with it is now obsolete by Nintendo's upgrade to the Nintendo 64 hardware.
The other thing too with it is like the one issue with Chewie is that they're just like, let's just make everything bigger, and they just made everything ridiculously big, but it just feels purposeless and just makes it annoying and kind of boring to navigate. I'd go up there.
Yeah, it's definitely stepped out. I think Tooie just doesn't really have like quite the same magic as Banjo Kazooie does.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Probably it's actually could even boil it down to simple. It just has a worse game over screen like thing. It's like, oh, well, at least the first one is funny, and then the second one it's like, oh, you just blow up the world or just fires the. Actually, I don't think you see a cutscene for the second one. It's like just lacking that little bit of creativity and those touches that made like Kazooie or Banjo Kazooie such a classic.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's no Tide of Tasmanian Tiger anyway.
I still have never played that game.
You know what? You should play the first one. It's really good.
I'd have to own it first.
It's on like everything now,
Yeah, but I have to like spend money on it first.
but it's worth it. Imagine all the goofy Australian accents you can hear. All the really in-your-face Australianness of it all. To be fair, I think that is actually one of the better things about it, is that it's just so in-your-face that it's Aussie. I don't think there are any games that would have the balls to be quite as Australian as that game is. Like, it's a miracle that nobody says cunt in it.
Like someone just turns to the screen and goes, Taz, you cunt!
Yeah. I will say probably one of my favorite random tutorial gags where it's like you start off with only one boomerang, you need to go and get a second one, and so you go into the first real world and your guide character is like, Ty, I found you a second boomerang. Yeah? Right, you see that tree over there? Yeah? Well, it's not there. Oh. Yeah, fun game. Really liked it. Did not care for the other one or the sequels, or the sequel. The only one I played.
And there's at
We only
least one
played two.
sequel.
There's 3, actually 4, because there's that like weird 2D side scroller game that is people thought was a reboot, but no, it's just a straight sequel. But yeah,
I mean, like, one day I'll probably pick it up. I mean, there's a couple of those kind of games that I want to pick up at some point, like Voodoo Vince is one of those.
not Voodoo Vince.
Voodoo Vince.
So what have you been up to, Sabo? Have we already asked that?
Yeah, nah, just running around doing some deliveries.
No
Woohoo,
DiGiorno.
he's a delivery boy.
No, not the. No, I don't deliver pizzas. I deliver chemicals. So
Now you sound like a drug dealer.
I'm not a drug dealer.
I'm your friend.
Amazing
What you
stuff.
need?
Now you just sound like more of a drug dealer.
You can't make drugs out of these chemicals.
That's what you think.
People have tried.
That's what the drug dealers want you to think. They can sell the drugs to you.
No, officer, you can't make drugs out of these chemicals. We used to talk about this is literally heroin.
I mean, it's acid, so I wouldn't want to store anything that's made out of not acid drug acid like will melt your skin off acid. So I wouldn't suggest making drugs out of those.
Oh, with that attitude, you wouldn't.
It's probably a bad idea.
Maybe a little bit.
Also, you say this as if there isn't a drug that's nickname is literally acid.
Yeah, but acid is not actually acid, is it?
I'll get back to you on
I
that.
have no
I
idea.
guess I'm pretty sure if you take it, it doesn't like melt your flesh off.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of acid. Your saliva's slightly acidic. Or very acidic, I don't remember which.
Alright, so that level is finished. We'll come back to this next week, because I know the next mission is a long one, because it's the one where everything's timed, and that'll probably take me a couple of tries, especially with recording. So, time to leave?
Leave.